Maldives, the last word in oceanic luxury.
A travel guide brought to you by PalapaVibez.com.
There is a country in the Indian Ocean that barely exists above the water's surface. Nearly 1,200 coral islands scattered across 26 atolls, most no larger than a few football pitches, rising just a meter or two above the sea. It should not be remarkable, and yet it has become the world's definitive luxury beach destination, a place that does not simply meet expectations of paradise, but makes the entire concept feel inadequate. This is the Maldives, and whether you are planning a honeymoon, a diving expedition, or simply the trip of your lifetime, this is everything you need to know before you go.
Let's get into it.
The Maldives stretches roughly 870 kilometers from north to south across the equator in the Indian Ocean, southwest of Sri Lanka. It is the world's lowest lying country. The average ground elevation sits just 1.5 meters above sea level.
Of the 1,292 islands in the archipelago, only 187 are inhabited. The rest are either resort islands, each typically occupied by a single hotel brand, or uninhabited sandbanks and coral formations.
The underwater world is the Maldives' greatest asset by a significant margin.
Over 2,000 species of reef fish, 187 species of coral and megafauna including manta rays, whale sharks, and hammerhead sharks make this one of the premier diving and snorkeling destinations anywhere on Earth.
Water temperature stays between 27 and 30 degrees Celsius year-round.
The best time to visit is November through April during the dry season when winds are calm, visibility underwater is at its best, and the skies are reliably clear. The wet season from May through October brings swells, reduced visibility, and occasional storms, though resort rates drop significantly during this window. Visa on arrival is available for all nationalities for 30 days at no cost. The currency is the Maldivian rupiah, but US dollars are accepted at virtually every resort and most local businesses.
The Maldives is an Islamic nation, and alcohol is only available on resort islands. Local inhabited islands are dry. The Maldives invented the one island, one resort concept, and it remains the world's gold standard for private tropical luxury.
Each resort occupies its own island, offering complete seclusion, pristine beaches, and a house reef just meters from your villa. The Overwater Villa is the signature Maldivian experience, and the reason most people come.
A private pavilion suspended above the lagoon, glass floor panels revealing reef life below, a private deck with direct ocean access, and the sound of water moving underneath you while you sleep.
It is one of those accommodations that photographs well and then somehow exceeds the photographs in person. Soneva Fushi in Ba Atoll is the original Barefoot luxury resort, the property that essentially defined the concept. No shoes required anywhere on the island, no television in the villas. Just an extraordinary house reef, organic gardens, an observatory for stargazing, and a philosophy of sustainable luxury that has been refined over decades. It remains the benchmark against which every other Maldivian resort is measured. The St. Regis Maldives Vommuli Resort is an architectural statement as much as a hotel. Overwater villas designed to resemble manta rays from above, a world-class spa built into the island's natural terrain, and a level of service that makes 5 stars feel like an understatement. Gili Lenken Fushi is the closest luxury resort to Male, accessible by speedboat in about 20 minutes, with the famous private reserve, the largest overwater villa in the entire Maldives.
Sitting alone at the end of a long jetty with 360-degree ocean views.
One and only Reethi Ra in North Male Atoll spreads across 12 beaches with exceptional dining and lush tropical landscaping that makes it feel more like a private island nation than a hotel. For travelers who want the Maldives experience without the luxury resort price tag, the local island guesthouse sector has matured significantly. Islands like Mafushi and Thulas offer comfortable guesthouses, guided snorkeling trips, and authentic Maldivian culture at a fraction of resort prices. The trade-off is the alcohol restriction on local islands and shared beaches, but the savings are substantial.
The attractions here are almost entirely underwater, and understanding what is available will help you plan which experiences to prioritize.
Velana Reef was one of the first dive sites in the Maldives and remains one of the most compelling. Reef sharks, moray eels, and vibrant soft coral formations in a protected channel that concentrates marine life.
Manta ray cleaning stations, where mantas hover in the current while cleaner fish tend to them, are one of the most humbling wildlife encounters available to recreational divers anywhere in the world. Whale sharks are present year-round in the Maldives, with South Ari Atoll being the most reliable location for snorkeling encounters with these gentle giants. They are the largest fish in the ocean, and swimming alongside one, even briefly, is the kind of experience that people describe for the rest of their lives. Vatu Island has one of the most surreal natural phenomena in the Maldives: bioluminescent phytoplankton that cause the shoreline to glow electric blue on moonless nights. It looks like something from a science fiction film. It is entirely natural and genuinely one of the most extraordinary things you can witness anywhere in the natural world.
On land, the Friday Mosque in Male, known as Hukuru Miski, is a 17th century coral stone structure with intricate carved decorations that represent some of the finest craftsmanship in the Islamic world.
It is UNESCO recognized and completely free to visit. Maldivian cuisine is built on tuna, coconut, and tropical starches, a flavor profile shaped by centuries of fishing culture and Indian Ocean trade routes.
The traditional dish to try is mashuni, shredded smoked tuna mixed with coconut, onion, and chili, typically eaten at breakfast with flatbread.
It is deeply specific to this place and genuinely delicious.
Resort dining has evolved into something extraordinary. Itha at the Conrad Maldives is the world's first underwater restaurant, a fully transparent acrylic structure sitting 5 meters below the ocean's surface, surrounded by coral reef and reef fish, with a tasting menu that turns a meal into an event unlike anything else available at any restaurant anywhere. Sea at Anantara Kihava is a similar concept, an underwater restaurant and wine cellar offering multi-course seafood menus with living reef on all sides. Fresh in the Garden at Soneva Fushi takes the opposite approach, building a farm-to-table experience from the resort's own organic gardens. The freshest experience of all often comes from resort-organized fishing trips where your morning catch becomes your evening meal, grilled over coconut husks on the beach as the stars emerge.
That specific combination of simplicity and setting is something the most expensive restaurants in the world cannot replicate.
All international flights arrive at Velana International Airport on Hulhuli Island, adjacent to the capital Male. Major carriers connecting to the Maldives include Emirates, Qatar Airways, Singapore Airlines, and Turkish Airlines.
From the airport, the transfer to your resort is one of the most important logistics decisions of the trip. Resorts in North and South Male Atoll are reached by speedboat in 20 to 60 minutes, the most straightforward and least expensive transfer option.
More distant atolls require seaplane transfers operated by Trans-Maldivian Airways, which are expensive, spectacular, and only operate during daylight hours between roughly 6 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon.
This daylight restriction is critical to plan around. If your international flight arrives late in the evening, you will need to overnight near the airport before your seaplane transfer the following morning.
Budget this into your itinerary and your accommodation costs before you book. Here are a few practical things that will genuinely matter on this trip.
Reef-safe sunscreen is increasingly required by resorts and strongly encouraged everywhere else. Standard sunscreen contains chemicals that damage coral in ways that have measurable effects at scale.
Pack mineral-based SPF before you leave home. It is significantly harder to source in the Maldives. Seaplanes have a 20-kilogram baggage limit per person. This catches a surprising number of travelers off guard. Pack accordingly, or arrange excess baggage transport in advance through your resort.
Travel insurance with medical evacuation coverage is essential.
The nearest decompression chamber for diving accidents is on Bandos Island, and serious medical cases require transfer to Male or evacuation to Sri Lanka or India.
This is not the destination to visit uninsured.
Book half-board or full-board meal plans at your resort. A la carte pricing at resort restaurants can add hundreds of dollars per day to your costs.
Traveling in shoulder season, particularly November or April, can yield significant savings on villa rates while the weather remains excellent. The Maldives does something that very few destinations achieve. It makes the world feel genuinely smaller and simultaneously more beautiful than you believed it could be. The quality of light here, the color of the water, the silence of a lagoon at 5 in the morning, none of it is adequately communicable in a video or a photograph.
It requires presence. Whether you come for the diving, the Overwater villa experience, the honeymoon, or simply to spend a week in a place that genuinely looks like paradise, the Maldives will give you something that stays with you long after the tan fades. When you are ready to plan your trip, search flights and hotels at PalapaVibez.com. The link is in the description. We will help you find the best deal and get you there. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and follow for more travel guides every week. And drop a comment below. Is the Maldives on your bucket list? And what would be the first thing you would do when you arrived? We read every single comment and we would love to know.